This is Daniel O'Reilly of Drogheda United. You are watching Irish Footy Vlogs. Please subscribe to the channel.
Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to the final Premier Division preview show of the season. Oisin, don't start crying there. We'll start off, we can cry later on though, right? We'll start off with Dundalk and Derry City at Oriel Park. Obviously a massive game for Derry City in the hunt for Europe here. They'll be hoping to try and get a win, and obviously they'll have to hope Sligo do Bowes a favour as well. But how do you see this match? Obviously Dundalk very difficult recently to beat at Oriel. They will bring a good crowd. They will have an atmosphere. It's a difficult one for Derry City, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. I think it's tough for, like I said before, Michael Lenny. I know he's out injured probably, and I think it's tough for Duffy, who's it's an awful situation to be in. And to be honest, I'm thinking, is he going to play? Is he not? Is he this? Is he that? I don't know whether he will or not, considering he was up there last week as well. But I think that's where all the focus is going to be. Unfortunately, I think a lot of focus for the game is going to be on obviously Michael Lenny and Duffy going. And it's a massive game for Derry if they can win it. Like, with the squad that Derry have probably up and coming for next season, I think if they were to get Europe, I don't think they have to get Europe. It's not a big thing at all, really. Look, it's obviously a big thing in terms of going to Europe and playing and all, but it's not very much like they have to do it to survive type of thing. They have the money there. I think it's going to be a really, really tough game. I think Dundalk could be up for it. It's a party atmosphere there now. Last day of the season, for once they're not in the cup final. And, so this is the last game, and it's one of them situations where the new owners have come in. There's a sense of positivity around the place again, around Dundalk, and I think it's going to be a massive occasion for the first game back with the new owners. And it's a shame it's the first game and the last game, but it's probably the best time to come in as an owner as well. But I think Oriel is going to be jammed. I think they're going to get a lot of support. I think they fell out of love with the local community for a while. I think they'll get that back, no doubt. And it's all lining up for a fantastic occasion because of the new owners and because of the way Dundalk is at the minute now with the positivity. I'm going to go for a draw. Before that, I would have went for a Derry win easy, but I just think this one might peter out for a draw.
Yeah, Oisin, I mean, it's a pity actually Dundalk didn't have something to play for in this match. They can actually finish level with Derry if they win, but they're way behind a goal difference. It's not even worth talking about. I was looking forward to, a situation where if Dundalk could win, they could potentially get into Europe, which would have really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons on the last day. But unfortunately, that's not the case. In that case, I reckon there's probably a better chance that Duffy actually doesn't play. How do you see this overall?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Well, he's obviously trained this week, Duffy. So I could see him, maybe coming on and then maybe, or even starting maybe and then coming off, maybe getting a final last hooray from the fans. Although he is going to Derry next year. Yeah, if I was a manager, I'd play him. He's still contracted to the club. And he's not gone yet, so I would play him. Even chatting to the Derry fans, they're not even. They said, like they were saying to me, they're not even disappointed if they didn't get Europe, because considering they had an awful start. Was it like 2 points in 5 or 6 games? Remember they lost to Longford in the first night of the season, and Harps even beat them in their own patch. Had to rub it in there, but it's just they've done well since Higgins came in, and there's no two ways about it. So. I'd say they'll be happy enough, considering where they finish up, and they can build on it then for next year. They have a lot of investment coming in. They have new players coming in, as we mentioned already. They're linked with a host of players, that are giving me the shivers. I'd say Dundalk as well. Obviously they've got their club back, as you could say. They are, they're a new team now. They'll be, we'll see what happens in the season. They'll lose some players and so on. But I can see I can see Dundalk going out to win this. Just to be as Keno said about a party atmosphere. I can see Dundalk winning this 2-1.
Yeah, I potentially see a draw, but funnily enough, a draw could work out to be good enough for Derry, depending on the result of the showgrounds. Sligo taking on Bohemians at the showgrounds, Keane, and I think it's there's more pressure, arguably, on Bohemians than there is Derry, because as you were saying, I agree with that as well. Derry don't really have to get into Europe, whereas Bohs will feel they have to get into Europe.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, I don't think they deserve it overall in the season to finish into Europe. I think they're blessed to get cup final. I know they went a hard way about it in terms of they had to beat Shamrock Rovers and stuff like that to get to the final, and they had to beat a tough Waterford. So I get that. I think Bohs deserve to be in Europe. I really don't. I don't think they've done enough over the course of the season. I think now through probably the downfall of other clubs they've kind of got in there this season, and look, they're going to take it every day of the week. There's no question about it. And like I says, they're in a cup final, so one who is going to be on that as well, because they know if they win that, they're in Europe next year. So it's a massive game for Bohs in terms of how well they've done over the last couple of years, and it could probably be undone in this game, and in terms of missing out on Europe. And if things don't go their way in the final, they could find themselves missing out, and it's going to be a rejig next year whether they win the cup or get Europe or not, in my opinion. But I'd rather have a rejig after winning the cup or getting into Europe. So it's a massive weekend for Bohs more than anyone. Sligo at last home game of the season. It's tough. You're going away to the showground to a team that finished third.
Yeah,
and a couple of the disappointing thing I think for Bohs would be, that Sligo team was there to be shot at. They could have easily overtook them in the league. You think back at the results. You think back at some of the games that they dropped points on. It shouldn't have gone down to the last game of the season for Bohs to get Europe. That's where I'm talking about. I think they might win it. I do think that they'll definitely come away with a point, which might be enough. But I think they might win it in terms of, because Keith Long is a master at, let's say, getting them for one-off type games.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, when they kind of have to win a game, they more than likely do. But at the same time, Sligo at home, you can't call these games, in fairness. But I'm going to go for, I'm edging towards a Sligo win to a draw. But I think a draw might be enough for Bohs to get into Europe next year automatically, where now I'm going into the cup final. Probably as a Pat fan, I kind of want them to get into Europe and know that they have Europe in the cup, instead of being missing out and then playing knowing that they need to win to get into Europe. It's just something about it. That's what I'd prefer. But Bohs would want to get this sorted now and get themselves into Europe. I think they've been dragging on long enough now, and they could very early miss out. And if they were to miss out, it would be an absolute disaster for the club.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a win for Bohs does actually get them into Europe. Unlike Derry, it doesn't necessarily get them into Europe. It depends on what happens. Fine, but win for Bohs, let's do that, Oisín. And obviously, there's going to be twists and turns, I think, in these two games, actually, to be honest. I think we're going to see a bit of crack. But, Sligo, obviously, at home. Nothing really to play for, but it's their last home game at the showground. Still want to go out in a high. But, Bohs are going to have to bring their A game here. I always feel that with Bohs, though, to be honest. They're one of those teams that have to bring their A game to win the games. How do you see this?
Yeah, Bohs just have to be the most inconsistent team, in the league this year. They just, they can pick up a good win and then, they go and lose 3 or 4. It's a bit laughable at this stage. But yeah, they've done well to get into that position, and get into 4th. It's really in their own hands now. As you said already, winning, they're into Europe. Well, they're in the 4th place. They might get Europe, whatever happens in the cup final. Sligo, yeah, they've obviously got Europe. Obviously they've done well, in the past few months, to cement that place in 3rd place. Even though any time they lost, the teams below them seemed to lose as well, so they were a bit lucky in that way. But yeah, no, I can see Sligo, going out. Last match of the season, as you said, no cup final, nothing to look forward to. So they give it their all. And as I predicted already, I can see Dundalk beating Derry. So obviously Dundalk are 3 points behind them, behind Bows and Derry. So yeah, I could see a draw too. In this one, I think Bows, they might have a mind, looking at the cup final. They might rest a few players. They might be worried of injuries and so on. So yeah, no, I'll go for a draw on this here, 1-1.
Yeah, I think Bowles will do enough. I think whatever happens, they might get a draw. It might be enough, as Keane said. They might need the 3 points.
I don't think the rest anyone. They
won't. They
have
won't rest.
More about strong squad because this is more important than the cup. I think personally getting into Europe is a million times more important than the cup, in terms of financial and stuff like that. So I'd be going out there. He's going to go out. There's no doubt, with a stronger squad available. And you're just praying, if it's touch and wood, they don't get any injuries, because obviously it's a big risk. But like I said, this should have been sorted 3 or 4 weeks ago. Both should have been in Europe, and maybe even last week they could have and should have had a well sewn up before they even played Rovers. So, they'd be disappointed it's gone down to the last day. But if we make amends and get there, it doesn't matter how you do it. Once you get there.
Yeah, I think they'll get there as well, personally. Finn Harps at the other end of the table take on Longford Town at Finn Park. Keno, 16 points between them in the table, despite one team being 8th and one team being 10th. I think from Finn Harps' point of view, Keno, they couldn't have asked for a better fixture on the last. This is no offence to Longford, but let's be honest, on the last day of the season, to try and get a win to cement their place in the Premier Division. If they win, nothing else matters here.
No, look, it's fantastic. If you could handpick a game, I think Ollie Horgan must be gone to get his feet blessed or something. He must be delighted with this. He'd have to be delighted with this. This is a fixture that probably Ollie has had set in his targets for the last 2 or 3 weeks, knowing that we have Longford at home last day of the season. That's where we need to get them 3 points to get us over the line. Look, they had a fantastic run throughout the season. At the start, they were, for me, Adam Foley was probably the most informed player in the country at one stage. He couldn't stop scoring. Then Tundi all of a sudden comes onto the scene, and he's against St. Pat's that time, and he hasn't stopped since, really. I know he's probably gone a little bit quiet in recent weeks, but it's really good to see Harps in the position that they are. In terms of knowing going into the last day, for some reason, I don't know how. Last year, if you remember correctly, the last kick of the game, I think it was Waterford they were playing, and I think the ball hit the post twice or something. Yeah. It was just absolute. I don't know how they do, but Harps every season they seem to. It's on the last day. They always define the odds, right? They shouldn't be winning games on the last day of the season, and they did to stay up. Now Harps are in a beautiful position where they know a win is just secures them, and they don't need to worry about anything else, which is very strange, and probably something that Harps probably aren't used to. And they define the odds in the right way. You just hope that they don't crumble under the pressure. Though I think they will. No, I don't think they will at all. I don't think they'll crumble. I think they'll get the win. But I don't think it's going to be straightforward. And I don't think it's going to be straightforward in Waterford either. So it's going to be, I think everyone's going to have a close eye on it. It's a pity it's not the olden days. You see all the outfielders with the big radios and stuff like that. You're not going to see that. But, I think everyone will have the live scores on. And I think, the fixtures, the results as they happen and the goals as they happen will be, you'll know who scored, or you'll know what, so it's going to be nice. It's going to be a good occasion, but Harps need to do their job, and if Harps do their job, who cares if Waterford beat Pats, and that's the way it is. And I slightly think Harps are very fortunate to be in the position they are, because they've been poor for the second half of the season. They beat Pats, they beat Rovers, and then they were on a nice little run then and up turn of fortunes, and then it kind of just derailed a little bit for them. You think back at the game against Drogheda, down to 10 men they were, and then Sean goes, gets himself sent off, and you're hanging over a draw in the end. So stuff like that, people say it evens out over the course of the season. I think Harps have been probably the most fortunate out of the lot, because you see the upsurge in Waterford, you see the upsurge. So it's going, to be where they are, knowing that a win will get them there. I'm looking forward to this. I hope they do it. I really do. It'd be nice to see, because I fancy whoever finishes ninth and anyway to stay there in the division. But I'd like to see Ollie and Harps just achieve that goal and stay in the division.
Yeah, I mean, Oisin, on the flip side, I suppose Harps have 41 points, and you say to yourself they're a bit unlucky to be in the position they're in with 41 points, because it's been so condensed this season. It's a high number for a team facing possibly a relegation playoff final in a week's time or so. But I think they're going to beat Longford personally, to be honest, but I don't think it's going to be straightforward, as Keane says. I don't think any of these games are going to be straightforward. It'll be twists and turns, and you'll be biting your nails and all that kind of stuff. I do think they'll pinch it and do enough, but from a Harps point of view as well, who do you go with up front, Boyd or Tunde in this particular fixture?
Well, I like to see Ollie going all out for it. So I'd like to see maybe, one and behind. So yeah, I would go with Tunde from the start. Possibly maybe Footy on the wing, it could be an option. But maybe Dan Hawkins in behind Owalabi. Seen that a couple of times, or even Barry McNamee does a job there. But yeah, even just the fixture, it's a big match, and that result in Longford on Saturday night was just the relief, really. Obviously it was out of our hands. If Waterford had got a win there, they would have been, it would have been the ball would have been in their park. But fair play to Longford, they defended well, and they got a point, and that really helped us. So it's in our own hands now, and it's back in the ball's back in our court, and we just have to go out and win, and it will not be easy. There's no point getting complacent here, saying, oh no, we'll definitely win. No, it's Longford. Longford, they have been so hard to beat this year. Even Shamrock Rovers, the champions, have found out that where they scored late goals. It's going to be very Longford well set up, and yeah, it will be very.
Last week, didn't they, Longford? To be fair.
Yeah, that's it. They defended very well against Waterford, and they took very well with that.
I'd say it's strange. I'd say it's very strange to go into a game as favourites, because probably for the first time in probably 5, 6, 7 years, maybe Harps are going in here like expecting to win the game, and I think it changes, and that brings its own pressure, and it's just, I think it's a matter of how they deal with it. Like Waterford, they didn't deal with it last week, and
the message Ollie Horgan likes to put across as well. Like, he really tries to emphasise how much of an underdog Harps are, and sometimes exaggerates that. But this week,
just a quick one: will Ollie be suspended after getting a red against Pats?
I'm not sure. I heard Jamie on commentary on Friday night saying it rolls over to the following week. I think it is. I'm not too sure. I think it's different. With the players, but I think I'm not too sure. To be honest, haven't seen.
That would be massive. A massive loss to not, like, I'm not being funny, to probably get sent off after 20 minutes on anyway. But to not have him. To not have them involved or in the dressing room. I know John will do all the screaming and shouting, but I don't think they'll do it as good as Ollie.
Well, I mean, I think he's on. I think I've seen something there. He's on 98 bookings this year. So if he was to get 2 yellows, he could hit the 100 mark if he was on the touchline. But
to get to the 100 mark.
Yeah, it would be breaking his own records, but it's a massive match for Harps, and as you said, like, they're not really the underdog. There'll be a big atmosphere. I'm organising the march myself. Trying to get a bit of atmosphere going, and
where's the march, Oisin?
So just starting Navanny Street, just making the way down to the ground, just so a bit of flags and a bit of drumming and a bit of chanting. So yeah, if you're a Harps man, you want to go and support, come along 7 o'clock Navanny Street, just to start in Navanny Street. But yeah, it'll be a big match. Need a big atmosphere, and I think it'll be a good old crowd out. Hopefully they can win. It'll be good to avoid the playoff. For the second year in a row, because Harps have been known as playoff merchants. For the past few years. When they're in the player. So yeah, we'll just hope for the best. It will be I'd say it could be a scrappy enough win, but I'll go for a 2-1, 2-1 or 2-0 one actually for Harps.
Yeah, you take that all day, every day. Waterford take on St. Patrick's Athletic at the RSC, and obviously Waterford have to win this and hope. Well, they may not have to win it, actually. They could draw it and Finn Harps could lose, but in their heads they'll be thinking they have to win this match, essentially. It's a good position. It's actually, I thought it would be a good position for Waterford actually playing Pats in the last day of the season, to be honest with you, if a win guaranteed to stay up. But that's been taken out of their hands now. Pats, we don't really know what way they'll play. By the sounds of things, it's not going to be what they would call the cup final team, but listen to matches the other day. So Pats, I suppose, are there for the taking, but Waterford have to take them here, don't they?
Yeah, look, they have to win the game. Simple as that. And whatever happens, there's nothing worse than you not winning. And then Longford all of a sudden pull out a worldie and beat Harps, and all of a sudden Harps are still staying in the division and you're in the playoff, not knowing that all you had to do was do your job. I think it's a lot tougher for ask for Waterford to beat Pats than it is for Harps to beat Longford. But if Waterford go ahead, I'm sure people, like I says, are going to be keeping an eye on the game on the live score or whatever they use around. And I presume if Waterford, for example, scored early on or scored after about 60 minutes, I could feel the Harps fans getting on Finn Harps back in the ground, and you'll know by the reaction of the crowd what the score is like. Just quickly on Harps, I don't think it'll be an early goal. I think it's going to be a Harps special. I don't think I should like me for that, but I think we've
that piece.
I think it'll be 96 minutes, yeah. And yeah, so like I says, I think there's going to be added pressure. Waterford, the place is going to be jammed down there. Well, is jammed as they'll get, I would say, and there'll be a good crowd down there for the game.
How will they approach the game? Because we all know Pats like to keep the ball, and Waterford feel like they have to go and win the game. But they are better in the counter-attack, and the players suit a counter-attacking game, Junior and Patterson. Do you think they'll stick with that, or they'll change slightly?
No, they'll stick with that. There's no doubt. If you try and go toe to toe against this Pats team, forget about it. Pat will tire you out. Pat will beat you. They'll beat the press, and all of a sudden they're in behind, and you can already say it's 1-0. That's how easy Pats can hold you, and that hasn't been the case now. I'm not saying that out of cockiness. That hasn't been the case for I don't know how many years. But I think this Pats team can really hold you, and so they will play on the counter. They only need to win a 1-0. They don't need 5 or 6 goals or 4 goals or whatever it is. They just need to win the game. So I expect it to be cagey. I expect it to be 0-0 at half time. Then I expect Pats to go for it a little bit, and then I expect Waterford to try and catch them on the counter. It's going to be tight, but it's going to be a 60-plus minute goal, in my opinion.
I actually think that's the best approach for Waterford, actually, to keep it tight for 20 minutes and kind of see what goes on elsewhere as well. Just whatever you do, we don't let in a goal here. We try and work ourselves into the game, see what Pats are like, see what way they set up in terms of who plays and that. Is that their best approach?
Yeah, I think Pats are going there under a little bit of pressure for some reason. In terms of we probably haven't played as well as we would have liked probably since the Dundalk game in the cup. And we haven't been as free flowing and as attacking as we'd like to. But at the same that Waterford we're second in the table, we're there for a reason. We've been the second best side in the country by a fair distance, I would feel. Now, without being too great now, but Pats have found themselves there. If Waterford went behind in this game, I would call it corner. But I think Waterford need to go ahead. Maybe Pats will score, but I don't think Waterford can go behind in this game. I think they'd be really struggling to win the game, which is what they need. If they go behind, I think they might get a draw out of it. But, you know, Pats can look at it as well in a way and saying, look, they're there for the taking. Their set pieces, defending, being really poor. You have Paddy Barrett, you have Sam Bound, two of the biggest lumps in the league. You know, you have people like that who will get their head in the ball, and we can hurt them in our own way. If that ball goes in behind the likes of Dara Bournes and stuff like that, you know, Pats are so dangerous, and Pats will be going there to win the game. I'm going to go for a draw. I don't think Pats will win the game, but I don't think Waterford will do enough. I think Waterford will do what they can, but I just think Pat's quality over the course of the 90 minutes we're bound to stick one away, and I'd say it'll probably be a 1-1 draw.
I suppose from Waterford's point of view, they'll be hoping that Pats, you know, are one eye in the cup, and they kind of have had that the last few weeks. You'd have to say they'd like a win, I'm sure, Pats, before they get to the cup final, because they have gone through a couple of games where they haven't won. But like Waterford players like Junior and Patterson, they can really hurt you on the day, can't they? They're very dangerous players, and you know, if Pats aren't on it, so to speak, Waterford have to sense blood at the same time and try and get a win and just hope for the best elsewhere.
Yeah, well, that's it too. And like I think, you know, there's a big chance for Waterford to beat Longford. Obviously, they didn't. You know, I mean, they could have easily. You know, I can see them. You know, possibly picking up a win here against Pats. To be honest, you know, it's basically just, you know, whoever wins really. You know, both teams will be trying to win, Harps and Waterford, and you know, hopefully Harps win. You know, because you know, they've a head in the goal difference. But yeah, no, I say Waterford. They will. They're a good team, like, and it might be a bit of, you know, might get a bit, you know, people might get a bit angry at this here, but I think, like, I don't really like the way, you know, obviously, Richard Forrest came in, the new Waterford, and he's kind of basically bought their way out of trouble, you could say, in a possible way. Like some Waterford fans be thinking, no, that's not true, like, but when you think of it, like, when they had Kevin Sheedy in the club, and then obviously, you know, the new manager came in, all the players that came in, you know, Greg Halford, you know, I know Stafford was there before, but even Junior, you know, like I remember the week they all came in, like, and they're playing Harps, it was July, like, they beat us 2-1 in St. Patrick, like, and I was wondering, where are all these players coming from? I think it's a bit unfair in the teams around them. You know, it's just, like, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, like, you know. There's
been a huge difference in recruitment, though, with Sheedy, to be honest, and obviously that's the owners, obviously, but there's a huge difference in recruitment there, and the players
got a bit lucky. Yeah, they got a bit lucky. Like, they kind of, I don't really want to say it, like, but they kind of bought themselves their luck. I was talking to a Drogheda fan about it, and he agreed with me as well. And he said, you know, Drogheda and Harps don't have the same type of budget mid-season. Don't you do what Waterford done, like? So to be honest, I'm not a fan of what they actually did. You know, but if they have the money, fair play to them, whatever. Like, but yeah, I like to see them go to the playoff and then go down. To be honest, just my own personal opinion. But no, I can see them put up a good fight against Pats. And yeah, if Harps will win, Waterford win, that's fair enough. As long as we have better goal difference, I'll be happy enough.
So guys, Shamrock Rovers take on Drogheda United in the final game of the season at Tallaght Stadium, and obviously the trophy presentation is going to happen here live on RTE, which is, look, Rovers fans will think that's the right thing to do. I understand it from that point of view, but so many other games, Cian, that mean so much more. You would like to see one of the other games being televised, but at the same time, you know, Drogheda would be delighted, by the way. Didn't kick a ball the other week, and they're staying in the Premier Division. So I suppose a little talk about them, I suppose, in many ways. Tim Clancy and the job he's done there, the fact they've got 44 points, they probably thought they be well safe with 44 points, but they've had a cracking season overall, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Tim will probably be as harsh as critic, and he'll probably be disappointed by how the season finished. I'm commending them. I think they've done an amazing job. But I know what that camp is capable of. I know what them players are capable of. I know what Tim wants from that club and that team, and I know what, you know, I know where the standards are and what he sets. So he'll be disappointed. I think he's not getting the credit he deserves. In terms of anyone outside Drogheda, basically, he's not getting any credit. He's, you know, Drogheda are just Drogheda. But if they finish the season how they started it, I think we could be talking about this getting into Europe here.
They were always going to suffer a dip, though, weren't they, to be honest?
Yeah, but I think with the amount of games they played towards the end of the season, if they finish the season the way they started it, in terms of winning the games and that winning run, it just feeds into the next game. It feeds into the next. I'm not going to say they're going to go on and they would have finished third or second or something like it, but they would have been in and around Dundalk, Derry, and Bowes. I don't know if people will say they are in and around it, but I mean they would have been in with a chance here. Great season, first season back coming up, and I think the only way is up for Drogheda now. They're probably going to lose their best couple of players, and it's a shame because that's what Drogheda United are, unfortunately, in the league. They will be losing their best players, and I think there's kind of an acceptance there, and I think the fans know that this is a stepping stone. And look, I understand that, and I commend them for that. But the players deserve tremendous support now on Friday night in Tallaght, and I really hope every Drogheda fan gets up the road and supports them, because what that team has done over the course of the last 2 years, even though you couldn't get in last year and see it, has been nothing short of amazing. And if you were to look at the points total from this season and last season combined, that's an unbelievable amount of points. And it's fantastic to see, and they'll be looking. They're going to lose a couple of players. There's no doubt about it. Look, I'll put my life on it, and I think everyone will talk about the likes of James Brown, and there's other players there that are possibly on the way out, which is a shame because Tim has really built something special there. But at the same time, it's an opportunity now to get out in the market and recruit more players, young, hungry players that I think fit the bill for Drogheda. Drogheda isn't that team anymore that you don't get an easy 3 points off them. Everyone works hard, like the likes of Phillips. For me personally, he is the one man that I would be breaking the bank to try and hold on to if I was Tim Clancy at Drogheda. Phillips is the one for me who I think
he's contract though. Luckily for them, I believe he's another year on the contract as well. So, yeah, I'd like to think that means he's staying.
Yeah, he's exceptional for them, and I think next year for him is going to be massive. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching him like I do every week with a close eye. I'll be looking at his movement in and out of possession. If they were to hold on to him, they could really build a team around him. Tie him down now. Get into the office now at the end of the season. He has a year left. Give him another 2 or whatever it is. Give him it to him, because if you can build a team around him, that's a massive starting point. And I think that's something Drogheda probably haven't got in recent years is a settled side. And I know Tim has brought that, and he's brought some really exceptional players, and they've played a number of seasons there now, which is brilliant. But when you do well, you're going to lose them. But now is a chance to nail down any players that you have there, get them there, build a team around the likes of Phillips. And I really think Drogheda can even go on and maybe go on a decent cup run this year, next year. And if we have the League Cup, we have the Leinster Senior. If they can get their hands on 2 of them or even one of them, it'd be amazing for Drogheda, because it's been a tough time since the boom when they were winning league, when they won the league that time. So I think Drogheda are in a good position here. It's great to go to the home of the champions. They know they're only playing their part in an occasion here, but they want to go and win the game, and they want to go and spoil the party. I think Rovers will win this, unfortunately, but I don't think it'll be straightforward. I think it's, again, Rovers will have to work really hard for it. I think Drogheda will have their chances, and if they're on form on the night, they could very easily stick 1 or 2 in, and it can frighten Rovers a little bit, because you don't want to lift the title. Look, the Rovers players are probably out in the last show week. I don't know, right? When you win leagues, that's what happens. But they were probably out enjoying themselves. I'm not going to say they take the eye off, but that 10% is gone. And that's a massive thing. So I'm gonna go for Rovers to win it. I just think they'll win out in the atmosphere. It's going to be, I think they're saying 6,000 seats sold already. So, if they can get that back up to 7,000 and make it look somewhat full, it'll be a fantastic occasion. I know it's on the telly. They're lifting the title. Look, I understand that. I'm just happy they're showing the game, to be honest. I know they're showing the one that's least important, but they're showing the game. And like I said, if they can give updates and give table updates as it happens and stuff like that, I think it'll be a very good game and a good night for the league.
Oisin, do you expect Shamrock Rovers to go and win the match here?
Yeah, I can see them winning. Yeah, I go with a 3-1 to Shamrock Rovers because I think the party atmosphere will be something added to them. I don't know, to be honest. With Drogheda, they're not too far. It just shows how tight the league has been this year. Like I think they're only like 7 points off Europe. So I mean a couple of wins. Like if they beat Dundalk, if they beat Harps, you're in with a point. Just a bit mad.
Were they what was it again? 4 games in 9 days. That's
what it was. Yeah, that's crucial. Like, it was awful because the match against Dundalk was played on a Thursday night, and then last Friday they didn't have any matches. Just didn't make sense at all. It was a bit mental. But yeah, I think they'll be happy enough for the season. Obviously, they're safe now. I had a bit of doubt around them, coming into the last weekend, because obviously, well, it all came down to goal difference. Really, if Harps win or Waterford win, they'll be level on points, but Drogheda have the better goal difference. Fair play to them out there. They're a good wee side, good wee club to have in the league. So yeah, no, they'll build on it next year. But yeah, I can't really see them picking up anything on Friday night. They'll be happy enough. Tim Clancy's done a great job on there. The players, obviously some players will be probably leaving, the likes of your James Brown and even Adamusi's linked to other clubs or whatever. But we'll see what happens there in the off season. But yeah, no, good season from them, I think. But I don't think they'll surprise too many on Friday night. But it's just a bit of typical RT, just to show that, as Keane was saying about updates as the goals go in. To be honest, I'd be very surprised if they did that. Yeah. As it stands, tables and stuff, might be out of their budget. You wouldn't know. But yeah, no,
you could do that, no problem.
Yeah, I guess definitely. But yeah, no, it's a bit of a dampener. Well, it's not really a dampener. They're lifting the trophy and so on. Fair play to them, they're worthy champions. But every other match is a bit of fight in it and a bit of something up for grabs. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Rovers will pinch it myself. We'll leave it there, lads. Thanks for watching the last preview show of the season. Let us know what you think in the comments. Give us a prediction. Subscribe to the channel, hit your bell notification button, and like the video. Thanks, boys.